Hi, everyone. My name is Kelly McCracken. I am a virtual assistant who offers complete Dubsado setups as a service for wedding professionals. So I work with mostly photographers, videographers, and wedding planners. And I'm going to show you today how you can use Dubsado as a wedding pro and get the most out of some of the features and the automations that are within Dubsado. So let's jump right in. So when you log into Dubsado, this is the first thing that you will see right on the homepage in your account. And I just wanted to let you know that when you create a Dubsado account, you actually get up to 3 clients free. So there's no time limit on your free trial. You can really dive in and get used to it with 3 clients before buying a yearly or monthly membership. So I think that just speaks to how they know that when you invest the time and you really get to know Dubsado, that it will be worth it in the end. And there's also this chat feature down here at the bottom that is a lifesaver. It definitely helps when you have a question or you need something specific to your account that you're looking for. You can always message Dubsado and they get back to you really quickly within 1 to 2 hours, but usually less. So when you're thinking about getting a CRM, those are kind of really big things that I think make a big impact on how you learn the account itself. So that being said, Dubsado does take some time to learn. It's not something that you kind of pick up in one day or is really intuitive, but I think that that speaks to how powerful the platform really is. It really does have a lot of features that can help your business automate and create workflows. So even though it's not something that is going to be set up in one day, it's also something that's really powerful. And they have a Dubsado 101 course that you can take that walks you through everything and kind of gives you all of the nitty-gritty details that you need to know about your Dubsado account. So let's jump into an example of how you could use it. I'm going to use an account today that's for a videographer and a photographer. And we're just getting her account set up. So I'm going to walk you through some of the features that we have and some of the processes we're setting up. And I'll give you some other tips also for how you can use it in other ways. So Dubsado saves all of these different things here as templates. So your scheduler, any forms, emails, packages, workflows, and payment plans. They all live here as templates and then can be customized for each client that you're working with, or they can keep the same and go through the same process with most of your clients. It's really important when you get started with Dubsado that you know your client journey from start to finish. In the wedding world, most clients are coming to you at a starting point and kind of going through a process of working with you and then offboarding. Usually they're not keeping with you year after year after year. They might be for certain projects, but for the most part, kind of thinking through that standard client journey that people are going to come through when they work with you. So one way to start your journey with your clients is through a lead capture form. Now, this lead capture form gets any information that you need about the person that's interested in working with you. And this is completely customized and created to be however you'd like to set it up that's best for your business. So we, of course, want to make sure we know the name of the person, their contact information, and you can select different ways to collect the information. So it could be with a drop-down bar. They could check off if they're interested in multiple services here. You can also select the date that they're interested in, especially if it's a wedding date. This would be really important to know right off the bat. And where is their location? And anything else you'd like us to know. So like I said, this can be completely customized. And one of the great things is that you can add workflows here right from the start. So if they wanted to select a service of working with you, so if it was photography, videography, or both, you can actually apply a workflow right from the start if those processes are a little bit different. So if you're a photographer, for instance, and you do weddings, but you also offer family sessions or newborn sessions, this is a great place to select a different workflow because those people will need different things than a wedding client would. So really nice feature that kind of allows some flexibility for who you're working with. And like I said, it's just kind of a nice way to make sure you want to work with this client before actually booking them and moving forward. knowing where the event is located and their date is going to be really important. So the client will save this. The client will fill this out, and then it will get saved in your Dubsado account under a project. And that information, let's go to a project now. That information will stay in there and be used over and over and over again with different smart fields. So they would come in as a job, or as a lead. And I just have my name in here as a project. So after they fill out that form, it would fill in automatically here the date. This doesn't have to be a time. I can select all day, the date of their wedding or whatever event it is, and then any other information that you collected on your lead capture form. I know for wedding planners, one of the really important things to know is how many guests they're planning to have. So that's something that's called a custom mapped field that you could add in, and it would capture right on this first project page here, how many guests they have. So when you're managing multiple projects, you can come back and easily see kind of a snapshot of everything that you need to know about the client. In this case, they needed to know the ceremony location, the reception location, and if there was a different getting ready location. So these are all custom mapped fields for the project that we've added into Dubsado to keep track of all of these addresses as well, and not just the standard address for the client. Another important thing is you can also collect a partner's name. So if they had one person reaching out to you, you can also ask for an alternate contact. So somebody else's name and email and phone number, so that you can also send both partners emails as well, and not just one. So after they fill out that lead capture form, in this case, this client is going to decide to send a scheduler to work with them, to meet with them and just kind of talk through some of their packages and the services they offer. So it's just like Calendly, where you can send a link, and I'll actually open this up for you here. You can embed this on your website if you wanted people to just be able to book a call with you, or you can use a direct link that just opens up in a new tab. I'll show you what that looks like here. So on the scheduler, the person can come in and just select what time works for them to meet. It eliminates all of the back and forth and are you available at this time? And I'm sorry, I have to cancel or reschedule and all of that sort of back and forth. It gives them the option to just control when they want to meet with you. So it eliminates the need for any other platforms and kind of puts everything all under one space. So you have your scheduler, your lead form, and we'll talk about proposals, contracts, and invoice, everything kind of all in one place. So you're not using multiple platforms. This calendar is great because it talks to your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar. So that if you have an appointment at, let's say, if you have a doctor's appointment at 12 o'clock and it's going to take you an hour at the doctor's, and then you have another half an hour to drive home and back, you can set up buffers for yourself where that would be blocked off on your schedule and people wouldn't be able to book a call 30 minutes before or after that time. So it really can be, you can leave your standard working hours or days where you're going to schedule calls available to people. But then if you had something come up, it would automatically remove that from your schedule. So you're not doing two things at once or managing that twice. So the person would just come in and they can book a call. In this case, because it's not connected to a project or workflow, it's asking us there to collect their information again. But yeah, it's as easy as that. And then you can set up reminders however many times that you'd like to send a reminder email under the advanced settings. So these are the buffers that I was talking about where if, let's say, even if you just had another meeting, you needed a 15-minute break before and after the appointment, you can set buffers for yourself. Or if you needed to drive to meet a client, again, you can set buffers for how much time is needed in between. Then you can also control when people can book a call with you. So they can't book less than 24 hours in advance, These times are being displayed in 30-minute increments. So 12, 12:30, 1 o'clock, but you could change it to anything that you wanted to, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, how many times somebody can book a call with you per day. And then here's where we control all of the emails that would go out with that scheduler. So you could set up reminders. 1 hour is what I have it set to, or 24 hours before the call. So after you book a call, then if you're ready to move forward, you could send a proposal, which is connected to a contract and an invoice. You don't have to do that, but it's really nice to have everything in one step so that the client knows exactly what they're getting into when they're paying their invoice and exactly what's included in their package. So this is just one example of how you could create a proposal. These are just using images that we've dragged and dropped in here. So all of these features on the right here can either be clicked and they go to the bottom, or you can drag them where you'd like them to go. And it's really easy to drag and drop images right into this space right here. And if you wanted to change it, you could also move it around. So once your form is designed, then you're going to be pulling in from your packages. So the client, again, can see exactly what's included in their wedding day and select a package that they'd like to use with you. Something else you can also add in is a GIF. So you can add in a 3-second GIF that will just kind of keep scrolling and show some of your, like, either it could be photos or it could just be like one photo moving a little bit. And it's just kind of a nice little add-on to your proposal. So then, like I said, in the settings, this is where we can control if the contract is included or not, if the invoice is included or not, and if you want the client to be able to choose multiple packages. So if you had add-ons to your packages, or if you were offering a wedding photography package and you wanted to add on an engagement session or an album, something like that, you can allow your client to choose multiple things and it will total it right at the bottom for you. Another thing that's nice is if you have a discount for, let's say, a family and friends or from referrals, something like that, you can also apply discounts to your final invoice. And all of this is branded here to their font. And this is the alert that pops up after you've completed the form and submitted it. So let's actually show you where the discount codes are. So under packages, we have added in all of the packages that this person offers. Like I said, their add-ons, their videography, photography, and the ones that are combined. And right under discounts here, we've created a family and friends code that will allow someone to take 10% off if they have the code family. So I know that's especially nice if you're getting referrals or things like that. So just kind of a nice feature that you can add into Dubsado. So in your packages here, you can do line items like single ones like this one here, where we have just the traditional package and exactly what's included in that package. And then this language will then be transferred over to your proposal, like you saw. And then also you can put it into your contract and on the invoice. So the client knows exactly what they're getting in all three of those places. If you offer custom packages, something else you can do is create sort of like an hourly time. So in this case, if you came up with whatever number that is that you're charging per hour, if you were doing wedding planning, for instance, and you knew that it was going to take 31 hours or whatever it would be, 50 hours of planning on your part, you can just simply change the hours based on this price that you've set here. So then the client would receive, let's save that, would receive a line item of each thing that's included in their total price. So instead of doing a package, you can create custom packages for each client. If you had to stay overnight somewhere, or you needed to add in like travel expenses of like a parking fee or a ferry fee or something like that, all of that can just be simply added in here. And after a while, it will just save it. Let's say that was $50. There was one of those, add item. Same thing with lodging. It might be $0 if you're not spending the night, but if you needed to spend the night somewhere because it was far away, you could just add in that lodging cost. However it is that you handle it, it's just a nice option to not have to use the custom package, but be able to simply just change the quantity in order to get your total price. If you had items that you were charging tax to as well, that's where you could add it in. And you can set your standard tax rate. I'll show you this here. Let's say it was 6.75. Oops. New tax item. Whatever it is for your state. Add. And then it will save that from here on out, where you can add that in if you need to. If you don't, then you can just remove it and it will still be on that drop-down menu. Pretty cool. All right, so let's go into a project. So in the project here, your client also has access to some of the forms that they need via a client portal. So if you are working with wedding clients, like if you're doing, wedding planning, then you probably have to meet with them pretty frequently. And there's kind of a lot of questionnaires that you need to gather and a lot of information you need. The client portal is a really nice place where they have everything all in one place. Even if you're a photographer or something with a more simple process, it still is everything that they need to know. So right inside of this portal, it will show up their contract, any questionnaires that you've added in, they can show as incomplete forms. It's nice when it keeps track of all of their emails, so they don't have to go digging through their inbox to try to find it. It's all in one place right here. If they moved or they needed to update something, they could update their contact information in here. This is empty right now because there's nothing added to the portal, but this is kind of an overview of what it would look like, and you can change out any of the branding and the colors in here. So another thing that is really nice under invoices is something that Dubsado now is offering is auto pay. So the client can sign up for auto pay and they don't have to be reminded when they needed to pay. Well, they still will be reminded, but they don't have to manually go in and do it. They can sign up and it can just automatically be deducted at the time that it's due. There are some stipulations, like they do need to use a credit card for that. And they don't have to sign up for that, but it is kind of a nice option now for clients to not have to worry about it, and you get paid on time, which is all really good. So under forms, forms is the same thing that we were talking about over here under templates. This drop-down menu has all of the forms here that we can add to a client project. So if we were adding in a proposal, you can just click add. And then you can send an email to the client, letting them know that this has been added to their portal. I'm sorry, to their project. And then they can open the link and take a look at it from the client point of view. If you were also just adding in a questionnaire, you can also just go in and apply it to the portal without sending them an email. So if we go back into the portal now, the questionnaire is right here and it's showing it as an incomplete form. So it's just kind of a handy little tool for people to go back to. So as you can see, it's pulling in all of these smart fields that we already had filled in, like the name, the email, and then if there's something we're missing, like the alternate contact, partner 2, they can come in here and pull that in. Again, anything else that you want to ask them or get to know. In this case, this is like shots that they know that they need to gather on the wedding day, and kind of keeping a running record of this. Something that we're also going to do is have a subcontract go out. So a second contract that just says, yes, we've agreed on these shots. This is what we're expecting after our wedding. This is what we want to see. So those are 2 nice features in Dubsado. All right, so we've kind of gone over the big pieces. I do just want to show you the workflows. The workflow should be the last step that you set up in Dubsado after everything else is created. So that includes all of your canned emails. So the emails can stay in here and be automated or not, where you can just pull them up and send them to a client and edit really quickly, or they can go out through a workflow. I do like to have them labeled with numbers so that I know where we are in the step. And when I'm looking for something, it's just a little bit easier to find. So like, for example, I have this one labeled O1, and then I have A, B, C, because they're all part of that step 1. So I can send out, yes, let's book a call. We're available. We're going to move forward. Or if this client had asked about a live stream, I might use this email instead. Also, if I'm not available that date, or if the client's not available that date, also step 1, we're going to send this response instead. So you can just select which email works best. But for most people, they're going to be moving forward in the process. So when we go to the workflow, the client is going to get a general response after they fill out that lead capture form that just says, hey, we'll get back to you soon in 24 to 48 hours. And I've mentioned those smart fields a few times, but here's a closer look. So the smart fields here pull in from the project information that we have. So the client just told us their first name. It's going to automatically populate that in a smart field. Same thing here with the email signature. This will just be added in at the bottom with a little picture and the your contact details. When we go to the next step of booking a call, this time it's going to pull in the job date. So the date of the wedding in this case that says, hey, we're available that date. We'd love to schedule a time to talk. And then it's pulling in the scheduler here. So this is the link that I showed you before where it has the calendar. In this email, it's just saving it as a smart field. But what the client will see is something like this. It will have a box and it will open a link. So in this case, we also included the pricing guide. So when we open up the pricing guide here, it's just a PDF that they can take a look at before booking a call with you. And that's just a link. And so that's kind of the steps for a new lead here. I always recommend not doing the proposal and everything all in one step. Dubsado recommends breaking this up as well, because this person may choose not to move forward, or they book someone else in the meantime. So when you have a separate workflow, then everyone is not being populated with proposals and contracts and invoices. We can just apply this workflow when we're ready to move forward with that client. So after you've met with them, you're ready to go, we can just simply add this workflow to a project and click approve, and it will send that proposal, contract, invoice to a client. I'll show you the project statuses in just a moment. And then all these things will happen automatically. So it'll activate the portal. It can send an email as soon as they have signed their contract. It will send the wedding day questionnaire 4 weeks before the project start date. So you don't have to remember to go in and gather that information. And then in this case, once they're finished with the wedding day questionnaire, then they can schedule a call and go over everything in depth. And all of that will go out automatically. So you're still nurturing that client and making them feel like they're really special on their day, but you are not having to remember every single step along the way. Let's talk about those project statuses. So up here at the top is kind of your client journey. And this is, again, customized to whatever your client process is. So we start out at the leads where they come in as a lead, and I call them new leads. Once they book a call with you, they move into the discovery call phase. And then once your proposal is sent to them, it would move them into this status here. After they've paid their deposit and signed their contract, then they get moved into a job. So then here you can, again, customize this however you want, but I like to see, okay, who is my deposit people, and then who has completed their questionnaire. And then in this case, for a wedding, your paid in full clients are probably coming up really soon within that month. So that might be where you wanted to keep your attention and know exactly what's coming up on that date. You can also look at all of the jobs that you have booked here and organize them in different ways. So if you needed to know whose date is sooner rather than later, you can update that list. You can filter here by if it's only photography clients or wedding planning clients, things like that. And then at the end, you can actually have it automatically archive a client where it doesn't delete or change anything. It just takes them out of this jobs pipeline and sends them over to the archived place. Awesome. So I think we've covered the basics today. There is so much more to dive into, so many more details, but I hope this was helpful for you to get an overview of some of the things that you can do as a wedding professional. You can find me at kellymccracken.va on Instagram, and you can find my website at www.kellymccrackenva.com. And my discount code for 30% off your first year or month of Dubsado is Kelly McCracken VA. So I'd love it if you use that code. I'm so happy you came to listen today. I will answer your questions down in the chat, and I will talk to you soon.